And here we are, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Who cares if you're in another time zone? Cubs making it a game, down 8-4 now. Got a couple of runs back. But let's talk about the last week or so of Cubs baseball. We got Mr. Ubbs here already. So what's going on with the Cubs? Tell me.
Well, we right now at this point in time, it's like they're getting better. But like I keep saying to you, just like the yesterday's game and this one, they are a manager away from greatness because they got the
So,
roster there. They just there's some things right now they still have to work with.
so the Pirates came in last week in first place. The Cubs went out and just swept them. Two shutouts, phenomenal baseball. Cubs probably playing some of the best baseball. And the Pirates are no longer in first place. What what happened in that series?
Well, the Pirates are struggling big time for one thing. Ever since they gave Derek Shelton that extension, they've not been. I think there's something like 18 and 36, 5 or something ridiculous number since they've given him that extension. It's not so there's something ridiculous. It's like they started off so fast and they gave him an extension, even though he had like a 320 winning percentage. The 2 years before that, the 2 years before that, and then they gave him the extension because he had a fast start. Then this happens. So they're just not a good team, and they could end up in about fourth place most likely.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see the Pirates in first place because they're never normally good. But I didn't think that that was something that they'd be able to hold on to. To see them lose it the way that they did was quite surprising. The Cubs played great baseball, shut them out a couple of times. What'd you get in that series from the Cubs?
I do that. We have our we got our pitching staff back. There's no question of that. But the good thing about it is the fact that the hitting had some nice little momentum to it, and I like that. And it's the fact that I don't want to see the 11 run game and then one, then zero, then two shutouts, then like we see. I like seeing, like for instance, I like seeing the 4 runs tonight a little bit, just because. But the thing is, even if they score 7 runs and lose or whatever, I don't want to see zero tomorrow. And that's a Kyle Hendricks start. I don't want to see him giving up 1 or 2 runs and losing.
Exactly. I mean, it was a good series. I thought they played some great baseball, two great shutouts, which is always good. You'd like to see your pitching staff put zeros on the board, and you can't really lose if they don't score. So, that was a good thing. Then they got the odd trip to London with a couple of days off. Went out in London, won the first game, played a really good game. The second game seemed kind of flat the way they played. What'd you think about that series?
First game was awesome. Second game was up 4-0, and then they went flat after that. And I'm like, this felt too good to be true. Blowing out St. Louis the first game and then getting 4-0 right away. It's like, boy, that's a really crummy. And see, I wanted to correct something. I did not think we were talking last week. Me and Denzel were. He kept bringing up the Stroman playing. I didn't see that coming because they announced it the day before his last start. I didn't realize they had a 2.5 day break before their game, that they had to go to London, do all that stuff, and then allowed him to go play. I didn't realize that, so that's my fault. But
Yeah,
the issue is that they started, and then there's that 4-0, and it's like that would have been a terrible overall series as far as getting the teams. It's good for baseball to have the 1-1, but it was just the fact that once they hit that 4-0, it's just what a Ross team does sometimes. They go flat, they're happy to be there, and then oh well, we got our game, and it's what it feels like. It's like I feel like with another manager, we're blowing them out in the second game. I just do because they keep the momentum.
yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that. I think that it's. I think this without Ross, they're winning this division. I mean, Cincinnati went on that amazing run, and then they dropped three in a row. But they're in first place right now. Milwaukee's in second. The Cubs are 3.5 back, not including tonight's games for everybody. And you look at it and you take out Ross's inconsistencies, and this team's in first place.
See, Ross is one of those like I keep bringing up with him. I want to see him when he's done with the Cubs. I want to see him going to another team as a minor league, or going into as a third base coach or anything like that. get another, even if he has to go back with Madden or anything like that, get a mentor and be with that a little bit, learn your stuff a little bit, even if you have to go in the minors and do anything like that. Because I think he knows his baseball, and I think as a catcher, you know more than most of the position players do. I think he has the ability to be a really good manager one day. I think he has the thing, and he is a player's coach, kind of like Dusty, but he doesn't have the instincts yet. They threw him in the fire right away, thinking he's going to be another Madden, and it's like it took Madden 20 years to get there.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Let's talk about the Philly series. Last night, not a good game. Tonight they start out in the hole early. That's 8-4, as I told you right now, in the sixth. So, I mean, it's not close, but it's not impossible to come back from an 8-4 deficit.
Especially with Morel around.
What's the reason they're struggling against the Phillies right now?
Phillies are you got to realize Phillies are in the same league and the same division as the Braves and Miami. This isn't a crappy team. They just got a lot. That's a monstrous division. The Braves are the Braves are the best team in baseball. I'm not sorry to say that. They're the best team in baseball as far as, they're just ridiculous. Miami's coming up, which I did not see this, which thank you, Kim Ng, for doing that. I mean, she got the third chance I didn't expect, and she's making the best of it with some of the players they brought in. They got that 400 hitter, Arias. They got him.
Yeah.
They got all that stuff going. That's a monstrous division. So it's like, I mean, when you're the third best team in a monstrous division, you're just tough by itself. So the Cubs are having that tough time. The Cubs, even if they win, that's what I say, even if they would win their division or find a way to eke that out, I mean, you got Braves and Miami, Dodgers. I mean, they are just some monster in the National League. They have to get through to even have a chance.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. So I mean, with this happening here, this will be, if they don't win with 3 losses in a row, starting the homestand with a chance to catch some ground that Cincinnati finally started losing. We spoke about it on our other show on the South Florida Tribune. Right now, if you're the Cubs GM and owner Ricketts, are you buying, or you selling, or you just staying pat?
Oh, I'm buying.
What do you do?
I'm buying because you're a year away probably from getting your manager. It's like you go get a new manager when you've got new players. I'm personally with the type that says, I've talked to friends of mine when we talk about Colorado, and I'm saying I would like that team to cut completely apart from the seams and even getting a young manager and just start the whole heck way over. And the Cubs are not there. The Cubs have a roster, a great one. And you can go get some players, and even if you can make yourself a playoff, you can get every great manager in the league, and you got a chance. That's the thing, but you don't want to cut your team short,
See, I would stay pat. I don't want to lose the minor league system. I think they have probably one of the best minor league systems in baseball. Right now, you have a decent major league roster. I don't want to give away guys in the minor leagues and lose my future, because in 2 years, this is going to be a dominant team. To just make the playoffs this year, to make a wild card or the first division series, is that really going to move the needle for a Cubs fan? Does that make you happy? Or would you rather just keep what you have and try and win something, win it all?
Well, there's the possibility you could be able to try that, but I'm just trying the way I try with it and stuff like that is like, we talked about this when Dusty left and they got Lou Piniella. Remember that roster that they had when he came through? You get a legend like that. You have to have a good roster to get that legend. You know what I'm saying? To get those type of players. I'm just going to use Dusty as an example. Say that he was to come back to the Cubs and do whatever. He isn't going to come back with a bunch of kids, not 73 years old. Right. I'm just saying it's a hypothetical, quote unquote. He wouldn't do that. But I'm saying he's 73 years old. He's not going to come back at something like that. He's going to come back to a team that is built. And I think that Joe Girardi would be the same way. I think any of the big-time managers, let's say Don Mattingly, these guys, especially Don Mattingly, spent his years teaching and teaching and mentoring a bunch of kids, and he did a good job with it. But he's going to want players and winning now.
Right.
So that's
No, I
what I mean
definitely
by
get.
that.
I mean, I hear you. I hate to take a chance getting rid of guys in the minor leagues when this minor league system is stacked and you
Hmm.
have a chance to win. A lot if you just stay pat and maybe go through free agency and not give up the farm.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and your way would work too. It's like all I'm saying is just don't sell. Just don't
Yeah,
sell it because like my main thing is it's one thing is if Ross was a beginner and you're this kind of close. And remember, he made the playoffs with the bubble playoffs.
yeah,
I mean, he got that, so he got probably gave him a couple more years. But it's like with him being this close to gone, him being that close to gone, it's like, and there are some top notch managers out there, names and everything like that. You don't want the roster cut completely to the sheath, all the way to the bone. You want to
right.
have players
Oh,
to be able to
I'm
show
not
them.
I'm not saying sell. I would stay pat. I would just run the course. If this team can make up the 4 games, all power to them. If they can't, that worry about next year.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I wouldn't sell either. I mean, but that's just me. The only one I would think about getting rid of is if you're not going to re-sign Stroman, trade him. Because
Yeah.
that's a waste of a valuable, you know, uh, player. If you're not going to sign him, why not go out and get somebody that'll help you or get some prospects to even make the minor leagues even better.
Well, I'll
Let's
tell you,
yeah,
I'll tell you this: with the way that that injury might have been a lifesaver for, with Hendricks and him coming back like that, because if
right.
he had stayed healthy, we'd probably lose him. So it's like, and losing Stroman and losing Hendricks at the same time would be devastating.
Oh, for sure. Let's talk a little college baseball. LSU won their seventh national title in a decisive Game 3, 18-4 victory. What do you think about what
Oh
happened
my
with the
lord,
College
that was
World Series?
ridiculous, ridiculous. And they before that thing, there's an interesting stat to that. Merle Haggard had the Guinness Book of World Records for buying the most in one case. I forget what the number was. The most, let's see, the most shots in one fell swoop. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records. It was destroyed by one guy who bought $40,000 worth of Jello shots for celebration. So they destroyed the Guinness Book of World Records in one fell swoop by buying those, and that was kind of fun. But no, it completely, that LSU team was just absolutely stacked, and it was fun to watch that little deal because one of our people back in Quincy actually went. He moved over to Florida, so he was covering that. He was in Quincy. He went to Florida for one of his jobs, WCJ View or something. I forget what it is. I think it's
Nice.
Sarasota. Huh?
That's nice. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. He went over there and he was covering the whole time. Jake Wronghole. I think it was Wronghole. Yeah. You
Oh,
remember Jake
okay.
Wronghole. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was covering it during the whole time. So it was fun to watch the Florida. I mean, it would have been nice to see him win, but that stacked LSU team.
that's interesting. Very cool. All right, moving along. Let's talk about the Hot Tub Time Machine, one of my favorite segments.
Mm-hmm.
Stan Hack, 301 average, you know, phenomenal player. Tell us what we need to know about Stan Hack.
I first heard of Stan Hack's name through Mike Royko, who was one of my things I talked about this week. That he was one of the first stars, and he came in. Like and basically he was one of the ones that come in through that situation. I believe he was one of the rare ones before the '84, and I talked about all of those other teams. One of the rare ones to come in on their prime to that
Right.
team. So
Yeah.
biggest thing overall with him is just the fact he was one of the rarities, but it came in before 45. So they were a powerhouse. And a
Nice.
301 average with power in that time, with center field being about 572 miles. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Oh, it
That
was a
that tells you
different
how much of
game
a
back in
player
the
he
day.
was.
It was a completely different game back in the day with the outfields the way they were,
Oh yeah,
you know.
and it's like people do not realize that. Remember, we watch Willie Mays all the time. We watch him all the time with that when he catch Vic Wertz, with that basket catch from the behind. That was 469 feet, and that wasn't even at the warning track.
Nope, not at all. It was pretty impressive. I mean, when you
I
think
mean,
about power hitters back in the day.
oh, I mean, and it's like, I mean, just thinking of him, just thinking of Vic Ward, to how much power that takes. He hit 470 to center, and he didn't hit a
Yeah,
home run. And he didn't hit a home run. And it's like, that just tells, it's like, these are what you call farmer strong and country strong.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
And it's like a 301 average. But think about this for a second. It's like, even with that power, that he was considered the power man of his day because he had 57 career homers.
yeah, no,
And
exactly. I mean,
that was considered power of the day because no one hit home runs. And Babe Ruth kind of ended that idea.
just a completely different era, different way of playing baseball. It was very, much different, kind of cool to think of what just the outfield were 400 and something feet, all over the place. Flagpoles were in grounds in play. I mean, it's just insane.
Here's a question. In your honest opinion, thinking about Stan Hacken in those days when you had 57 career homers, and and you get to those, like I said, I mean, even at a time, Babe Ruth already destroyed the idea of it, but even then, there still weren't a whole bunch of home runs outside of him. Would you want to have baseball, because he was 32 to 47? So would you ever
Yeah.
want to have baseball without home runs, or would you want to see how that would look like in this day and age if it was a possibility?
I wouldn't want to see it without home runs because, that's part of the game, but I don't like the iteration we have now where it's just, uppercut the ball and, flight projection and trajectory. And, I'm glad to see the stolen bases coming back with the pitch clock. But at the same time, I'd like to see more hit and runs, more
Speaking
sacrifice.
of the stolen base, here is the funniest stat, though, about Stan Hack. 5 straight years leading the league and being caught stealing.
Wow.
He got caught 18 times, 19 times, 15 times, 18 times, and 22 times in five
Wow.
straight seasons. So
That's
this guy
wild.
was, and here's what's funny. Each of those years, 4 of those 5 years, he got caught stealing more than he stole.
Wow. That
So
is wild.
it just means he was speed. It just means if he was going, he had speed, but he had no timing.
Exactly. So last topic on the abbreviated confidential this week, since it's just me and you,
Yeah.
and we're able to roll through. Cup or dud, signing a green.
Well, considering the injuries that had happened, remember we did not have. I mean, that was Shane Green, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, considering we didn't have Kyle until we did not have Kyle until now. That's about 3 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. We haven't had him until now. We just lost Stroman in the middle of a game to a blister, which is gonna probably take another start out of him.
Yep.
You're getting these, and then we lost Steele for a couple weeks. It's kind of a good idea.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, it can never hurt to have enough decent relief pitchers. I think that's a phenomenal move to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
Anytime you can get a quality reliever, you gotta take advantage of it.
absolutely. And it's like there's been loss, and then it's like, here's the thing: it's like, is he all reliever? Could you start him anything, considering the injuries that have been going on? The injuries going.
Exactly. I'm all for that move. Anytime you can find somebody that's decent off the bench for relief pitching, you got to take
Well,
it.
the back relievers need some help bad. Especially, you want to know, here's what's going on. You get your butt kicked like we do with this game with Philly. To
Yeah,
get this, we're using our guys a little too early, and then the
no,
back ends and stuff
it's
like
true.
that. So we need help.
It's the truth. All right, so where can people find you?
Well, Sunday nights on Basket Bros. Monday nights, let's see, pundit views. We had a great interview with a film producer, young guy, 24 years old, already has 4 movies in his name, Jake Frost. He's
Nice.
a horror film guy, so it's pretty cool with that. I got another one from Monday also. Tuesdays, nothing. Wednesdays, pundits, the South Florida Tribune, the Sports Exchange, and this one, the Cubfidential. We're looking
Nice.
at possibly bringing, but just depends on timing of Yin and Yang back. And I'm working on a couple of movie ideas, which I was talking about. And now I've got a Substack, and I am published in the Inscriber and South Florida Tribune.
So you're not really doing anything.
Not a lick.
All
Living in
right.
mom's basement.
All right, Jacob. As always, it was a pleasure having a show with you. This is Cubfidential on the Sideline Sports Network every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. I won't be here next week. You'll be with Denzel and Mr. Ubbs himself. Maybe Botkins will show up. Never
Hot
know.
Bodkins? Is Hot Bodkins coming back?
You never know. He may show up. You may have Ti every once in a while shows up. You never know.
Yeah.
But either way, until next week, this is Sideline Sports Network. Make sure you're watching. 7 days a week, always on. We always got things happening. Make sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
See you next week.